Where do we start?
Okay, well, I have a ton of questions for you. And I know a lot of tech students are wondering about all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on at tech. When we vote for guys like Clint, you want to see stuff like happen. You want to see all of the promises they make during their campaign actually come true. So we're going to ask him and pick his brain apart and find out everything that he has planned on doing and everything that he has done and the foundations he's setting for the guys and girls coming up behind him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing we were just talking about, the whole Tech 2020 idea. I asked him, did this come from officials or did this start in SGA? And he said this started in SGA. So how exactly did this whole idea of getting tech on like a bigger scale and getting upgrades, how did that even start?
Absolutely. I think it all starts with all of us kind of wanting to improve our university. And it's a really complicated process to actually get a fee of that magnitude passed and jumping through all the hurdles. And, you know, at the SGA, we pass a resolution or referendum in support of like some fee. And, you know, what will that fee accomplish? How much will it be? And is this actually going to be beneficial to everyone? That's something that we kind of pick around and play with for a while, and we really work hard on it. And when we get an idea or a referendum to the point where we think it's good, like the Tech 2020 fee, we pass it through the SGA. So the first kind of hurdle, the first thing that we have to do is if the SGA passes it, then it kind of moves on to the next step, which is kind of hard because we have almost 70 people in the SGA with a lot of opinions, which is good. So we get it to a point where, you know, it's probably going to be, I guess it'll reflect, the best interest of everyone.
Right.
So it's really difficult, that being the first step. And then you have to go to the UL System Board, and they have a board meeting, I think usually in February, March. And we go there, present our case, and it's usually the SGA President, the President of the University, so Dr. Renaud, obviously, Vice President King, and a few other people. And we go there and we do a presentation, and every university in our system is doing the exact same thing. So if they have a referendum that they want to get passed, they're there, you know, pleading their case.
Right.
And pretty much what they're, there to do is to protect the students overall. You know, yes, we see the SGA and the school kind of wants to do this, but they want to make sure that we're not trying to get anything through that wouldn't be in the best interest of everyone.
Right.
So then you pass it through them, and then it goes on the spring ballot. So when you vote on different positions, SGA positions, you also vote on referendums like that. So spring elections are a really big deal.
It's important to vote, guys.
It is, and it's unfortunate, and obviously this is not uncommon everywhere, but the voting rate is so low everywhere. I think we're just at 10%. So we have about 1,000 students vote out of the 11,000 here. So
that's not much at all.
Not much at all. And I think that, the best or the easiest way to fix that is just to let them know how important it's not just voting on SGA candidates.
Exactly. It's not just one year. It's passing
oh my gosh.
So
well, just
things.
think of how long that we've been paying into the Tech 2020.
Right.
I won't see a lot of things, necessarily that we've been paying for. I'm graduating this spring, but you just think of the students, in the future.
Right, and you're laying the foundation for the next people that come in.
Yeah, so it's a difficult process, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, you can see all the stuff that's going on and where we are now with all the budget cuts and everything, still how far ahead we are.
Right.
So
and that's another thing we're talking about, how tech hasn't really suffered that much from any of these higher level budget cuts. We've saved a lot of jobs, whereas other universities are seeing those cuts and seeing your favorite teacher or somebody that has a student working job, just you get the cut, you know?
Well, and I think that Dr. Renaud will say this exactly probably in these words, that we would not be able to do it without the students. He really does say that. He says it time and time again. And, he never wants to go to the student body for money. I mean, that's really not what he wants to do. But there's situations, and, we get to it where we might have to cut jobs and cut this and cut that. But the last thing he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want your classes to be 400 or 500 people.
That's a big part in why people do come to tech. Because you can have, a smaller class, and you can have that one-on-one relationship with your teacher, whereas if you go to an auditorium class for every single class, you don't want to go, you get somebody to sign you in, you just don't get that personal education level like some of the other educations they don't even offer.
Exactly.
So
we've been very fortunate, and I think that, he protects education, and that's why we're here. And it just happens to be that the students come up and they, and they kind of do the extra work, and they make sure that we don't have to lose any services or any of the fun stuff either, because college can't just be the education.
Exactly.
It's all about everything else too, right? And I think if it were not for the student body, we would not be where we are.
Well, go Dr. Renaud.
Right?
Woo.
Yeah. So.
Okay, and you were just saying that we're also happy about Tech Express being off campus officially. That was one of the things that Clint actually got to implement, So that's one of those things, like you said, how long were y'all working on getting
years.
that?
I mean, I don't know if everyone has probably heard.
Yes.
Time and time again.
It was a rumor.
Campus.
We always thought
And
Subway's going to have Tech Express,
yeah,
all these different places.
At least 2 or 3 SGA presidents before me. I mean, that's something they've always worked on, and I know that we haven't really seen it right away, but now we have it.
Gosh, no, I was just thinking my roommate treated us to Maggie Moo's last night with our Tech Express. I mean, it's so much easier because you're not confined to just eating on campus anymore. You can go to Portico. You can go and bring somebody on a date. You can go to Ponchatoula's and have some wings with your friends, and you can pay for it with your parents' Tech Express money. So they don't have to ask. You're eating salads on campus. They don't know the difference.
Well, it's just neat seeing all of that hard work. It finally happened, and it wasn't necessarily just me. But I'm here getting to enjoy it.
Right, exactly.
But that's what it is. You're trying. The work that we do isn't necessarily just in the present. I mean, we're definitely working for the future.
Yeah.
So is the turnaround time usually that long for larger projects?
It depends. I mean, it's politics. That's the easiest way to say it, and obviously it doesn't move very fast. And it just depends on the project. Depends. I mean, now that we've gone through so many budget cuts, things do not happen fast. And that's something that we've got to get used to. It's not something that I'm used to. I'm not very patient. And that's definitely one of my weaknesses. So it's hard to actually wait. But when you actually get to see it happen, it's worth it, I think.
Well, and that's why it's so important for all of us to vote. I mean, I've been guilty of not voting. We all fall into that trap where you're just like, oh, one vote's really not going to matter. And like you said, it is politics. It may just be college, but it's your college.
Well, and I mean, and like I said, we have 70 students in the SGA. We represent over 11,000 students. Yes, our goal is to, I guess, reflect the intentions and the vision for the entire student body. That's hard to do. And I would say that we're really trying to work on. Everyone says apathy is a problem, but I don't think it's necessarily the students' fault, the SGA's fault, or anything. We have to work together to kind of change that. And then when you get the students to buy into something, and they actually realize that vote just helped. I mean, it wasn't the SGA that just got that fee passed. I mean, it was the student body.
Right.
Everyone has a part in that. So I think you just have to give them some buy-in, and that's what we've been trying to kind of work on.
Exactly. So. Well, you said the board meeting is in February, March. Are y'all going? So y'all are going soon.
Absolutely.
Well, what's on the schedule for that?
Well, we're actually working on a new fee, and this is a very complicated fee. We're going to be doing a lot of meetings. If we get past the board meeting with the student body, we'll have them in Howard, and I'll be at your organization meetings and everything because it's very meticulous. The details are very, it's a lot of work, but the main thing is the things that we will be able to accomplish from the fee are absolutely amazing. And I know that students are so tired of seeing Nielsen and Carruthers and all these decommissioned dorms. They're not, sometimes we use the word condemned, but these dorms are decommissioned. We cannot use them.
Right.
And they're just standing there and just kind of wasting space, and we could do so much more there. And so this fee would help to go towards tearing those dorms down, building new intramural fields, because we have terrible intramural fields, and I'm not a big athlete myself, but being involved in a fraternity or even other organizations, intramurals is it's a big part.
That's something you want to brag about.
Well, and it's things like, obviously I'm not going to be a professional baseball player, but it's still fun to play intramural softball, and it's like there's a lot of students who are involved in that. So new intramural fields, not just that they're amazing, and there's actually room for outdoor classrooms and
that's awesome.
Really neat stuff. And
so then, Ugly Nielsen will be down.
Will be gone.
Yeah, finally. What an eyesore.
Because I mean, I don't know if students know, but it's almost close to $2 million to tear each dorm down, and when you're facing budget cuts, that's not a priority. I mean, I'd rather have good teachers,
Right.
And it's not that Dr. No wants the thing standing there, because he doesn't.
It's just more expensive to take it off than just leave it up there.
And this is going to be another time that students are going to have to step up and actually, keep bringing our university further, because once all these things are accomplished, I mean, really no one will be able to compete. Once our intramural center is finished, which it will be one day, and getting those dorms demolished and building a new banquet facility, because besides the talk, we really don't have a nice venue to do things.
Right.
It'll be a lot more formal, and that's neat. And there's just so many different things. Hopefully building some new organizational office space, because I know that, out of the 160 organizations we have, very few have office space. So trying to make a very universal area where we can come and kind of do work, and not just the SGA or Union Board, actually have a lot of office space.
Yeah, and Tolliver won't be packed out trying to get a meeting in there. You have to reserve it so far ahead.
Yeah, so there's so many really cool things, and we're working on a few additional parking ideas. And I think that in the past, we've been against parking garages, but I think that we've got kind of some ideas in which we maybe can work on some maybe 2-story garages and different things like that.
That would be so awesome.
There's a lot of additional parking ideas, and there's really, really a lot of stuff, but the way that we're going to do this fee, it's different than in the past. the technology fee board. I know a lot of people have probably heard of that,
Mhm.
and we buy technology for around campus and different things. But the board is composed of the SGA president, vice president, all of the class presidents, and then a few faculty members. So I guess in a sense, the students make sure that that money is spent the way that we
Right.
need it spent. Like we're about to replace every computer in the computer labs, like in the library and different things like that, because they're slow and outdated. And the new security cameras going up on campus, so we get to spend that money, and that's the way that we're going to do this new fee. That way, the students for sure are going to be the ones picking, like, yes, we want to tear down those dorms,
Right,
or
right.
yes, we want to do this. So it's going to be in the students' hands. So that's
So
going to
we
be
gotta
neat.
vote, guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
it hasn't really been done like that in the past. So that's why I made sure, like, I won't, obviously I probably won't see this. It'll take a few years to actually get the money built up, but it'll be an SGA in the future and the student body in the future being able to decide.
Yeah, and you're making
Yeah.
the influence, like one ripple, it keeps going.
Exactly. I might not
so-
see that, but and you might graduate before you actually pay into it, but it's going to be something we can kind of all work in together. I mean, the alumni are doing their part. They're coming out, I guess, in larger numbers we've ever seen, donating money and making sure that we're okay. And it's time, for the students to step up again.
Right,
And I think we
exactly.
will. So.
Well, and I think that's kind of the word on the street, Tech, is that alumni really, really has a lot to do with supporting our school, and that's why we have a good alumni base, especially if they're shelling out the bucks, we got to shell out the votes.
Well, that
so-
too, and I think it makes the alumni, I guess, feel a little bit better if the students are actually,
right, participating.
exactly. And if they participate, they'll keep participating. So we kind of work together. I feel way that around the Tech family thing all the time, because it's like my big deal. That's why I came to Tech. And it is a family, and they're doing their part. We have to do our part.
Right.
So it'll be
That's
neat.
awesome.
I can't wait to see what it'll do. I mean, the 2020 fee. Look where it's gotten us. So maybe
Exactly.
where
It's so close.
Yeah. So I can't imagine where this fee is going to take us. It's going to be.
That's
really cool.
awesome. We're
So-
going to have to keep us updated
Yeah.
so we can talk about it
Well,
on the show.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll be talking a lot about it at spring quarter, so it's going to be huge.
That'll be cool. So you'll be
Definitely.
going around talking to
Mhm.
everybody.
I'll be everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but all I have is running class spring quarter, so.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
You'll be walking with me. I'm graduating in the
Real-
spring too.
Let's do it.
Yes, I
I
am
know.
too.
Oh my gosh, we all will.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna be great.
that's how I
Yeah.
feel too. Well, my last question for you, as we were asking you, your campaign promises or your platform, what have you seen that you said from day one, this is what I stand for, this is what I want to do? Do you feel like you've accomplished or even, started something that you really meant that you wanted to do? Do you feel like you've made that impact or you're starting to?
Yeah, absolutely. After running 2 campaigns now, winning the second one, you start off making a lot of promises.
Right.
Because I don't think it's, not intent. You really want to do those things, but then you figure out, wait, I have a year.
Right, and sometimes
do
biting
this.
off more than you can
It
chew,
is, and I
yeah.
think the most important thing is, and what I was told, pick 2 or 3 things that you know that you can get accomplished and do it, and that's what we've done this year. I'm very big on community service, that's my deal. That's why I joined my fraternity. I love community service. So we did a big community service project throughout the state. So every school in our system did it. It wasn't as successful as we wanted it to be, but it was to support St.
It's a
Jude's.
start, yeah.
And you have to start somewhere, and I think back to big event the first time we did it, and it wasn't that big.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It
It's
was
a
just
big
an event.
now,
So,
yeah.
and now we have LSU coming to this big event in April, and they're wanting
Really?
they want to see how we're doing it, and they want to bring it back. And that's so
Wow.
neat to me. And and that's one thing that we really want to do. We don't really have many things in the fall that's geared towards community service. So that was one big change we did. Had a 5K run, and we raised, I think, $1,200. So, I mean, that's obviously not much, but that's $1,200 they didn't have before.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping that's something that we can keep building on and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I
Right.
think the student body is very much service oriented, all the organizations. So I think
Yeah.
it'll really pick up. And it might not be St. Jude's every year. We'll probably pick a different cause, maybe even let the student body vote on a cause. So that'd be really cool.
awesome,
So
yeah.
we know what to do, what not to do, but we'll definitely see that again next year. So that was one big thing I wanted, and the second thing is leadership is very important to me. I've been very involved in on campus, and I think that's why I love Tech so much. My involvement in the things that I've done. So we created something that's kind of a spin-off of what we already had in the SGA called Freshman Leadership Team,
Mhm.
but we changed it into the Tech Leadership Council. And the goal, I guess, what we want, our vision, is for this group of students to one day go into be SGA President one day, be an orientation
So like
student
a little
leader.
starter
Yeah,
set,
it's really
yeah.
neat, because a lot of times freshmen will come in like, well, where do I fit in? Where do I get
Yeah.
involved? Well, this class is strictly leadership oriented. You go through an entire class during the winter quarter. It's taught by Stacy Gilbert from the BARC, Dr. Barry Morales, who is Director of Student Activities, and then there are 2 older people or students that help, which is Jeff Boudreau, Union Board President, and Carlton Gray, who's on SGA, and then I also help. So and then we have 26
So you
students.
gotta get their feet wet.
Yeah, and we teach them, what kind of leadership style do you have? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? And kind of what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And that's the first part. The coolest part is we group them up, and then they all work on a project, some kind of project they want to implement spring quarter. It could be community service, just a tech. It could be like a STEM thing, a recycling, effort. They have no limits, so they will have until the end of the winter quarter to make these projects. They all vote on the end on the best one, and then spring quarter will actually be implemented. And
that's awesome.
It's going to be really neat, and it's just an opportunity for them to kind of figure out who they are, what are they good at, what are they not good at. And then we also give them opportunities to meet Travis Napper, who's over orientation, and Miss Kate Perry over student recruiters, and they get to meet, make those connections, and then hopefully once they, kind of graduate from us, they'll move into another organization.
So we'll be looking out for that too.
Yeah, it's really, really
That's
neat.
awesome.
And
That sounds very innovative.
It's new. It's no one's really doing it, but I think it's going to be a success, and we're kind of learning as we go. But they're really enjoying it. We really have one of the best group of kids already. So they're all great, already really involved, and we're just trying to build on that. So it'll be really neat to see what they want to do. So
it sounds like Clint has been a very successful president so far.
It has been busy, but it's been great.
It's a blast. Time flies.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Gosh.
It's almost over.
Well,
so.
I'm very impressed. I'm blown away by how much behind the scenes stuff happens that really you never know about. You have to ask,
Yeah,
and even that we don't even know half of the stuff that y'all have to do.
We have room for improvement too, to even get the communication out there. I mean, I think that's always a problem. Like, how do you communicate effectively? And that's something that we're still working on. And we've kind of hyped up our social media a little bit more this year, and a few other things, and we'll get there. It's just we're still trying to build and improve. So
awesome.
We'll get there.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you once again, our SGA President, Mr. Clint Carlisle. Everybody be looking out for him. He'll be coming to all the organizations, talking and letting everybody know what's going on. And obviously, good luck at the big council meeting with everybody.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
Get
we're
tech
ready
on the map some more. Gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're excited.
It's pretty awesome.
It's going to be great. I can't wait to hear what happens.
I'm just proud of tech for, we talked about it on our last show, just stepping it up. Like, I just feel like we're finally getting somewhere, and especially someone like
noticing.
You. Exactly, yeah. And all you have to do is make one impression, and luckily all of our impressions on, I guess, like a national scale and just within our own state, we have a great university. We're just not huge, but you don't have to be a huge school to make an impact and to have kids come out of here with a great graduation rate. I think everybody overlooks tech because it's just like, oh, of course they're doing pretty good. Like, it's expected out of us.
Yeah.
They're smaller, and it's North Louisiana. They don't have as many distractions, but, I mean, this is still a great university. You don't have to be ginormous to...
And I really do feel like within the year or two, they'll start referring to us as the flagship of the North.
That'd be great.
Pretty positive.
I would put my money on it, too.
Yeah, and we will. I mean, at the rate we're going, if we keep going, we're going to be fine.
I mean, athletics-wise, we're doing so well this year.
Wow, with the bowl game, right?
Exactly. Like, that was just such a great thing. I mean, I know we lost, but if we didn't show heart in that game, and just looking up at the stands and seeing how many true Tech fans, and that you could tell everybody that was there wanted to be there. It was worth the Christmas money they spent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you would hear from, like, any of our friends, like, they would have gone if they could have,
And it was, we really did try to get as many students there as possible, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go. And I counted about 20, 25 students that really just kind of put it out there. They went, that was like their Christmas present.
Yeah.
And it's really neat actually seeing Tech fans from California and like different things, like
that's
seeing how they're so spread out.
That's why I thought it was so funny. People
so
just
neat.
coming down and being like, oh, like my brother-in-law plays for y'all's team, or my cousin, we're all from California, and like they came and supported us.
Yeah.
Like, you would have never thought somebody would be supporting Ruston way out in Cali.
And the actual people that lived there, it was so weird because we were at the first event, they did the Battle of the Bands in the street, and I don't know, we
weren't there yet, but we heard it was awesome.
We were like, we were yelling and cheering, and we actually had people that lived there come up to us like, we're rooting for y'all. It's like, we've been watching you, like, we're ready for y'all to win, and like, it was such
awesome.
oh my god, it was such a good message. Like, we're already, we might not be, the biggest school, but we're getting a lot of attention nationwide.
Right.
That bowl game did so much for us.
Well, and TCU had such a chip on their shoulder. Like, at the game they were at the year before, anytime we ran into TCU fans, not all of them, but some of them, when we were on our flight back with the Regal Blues, they were like, oh yeah, we just really took it as, kind of a thorn on our side that we didn't get to play in such a big game this year, but y'all sure did do good. It was kind of like a pat on the back.
Yeah.
But afterwards, most of the people we talked to were blown away by our support and how good. We
yeah,
really did.
They were so
do.
surprised, and we did amazing.
So,
And I didn't even know until after the game that Cameron's his foot was hurt.
I didn't even know that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I could be, but that's what I heard.
Right.
And I saw him limping, and I was like, well, then I felt bad. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they did such a great job, and I don't think you could have asked for anything more. And still their spirit and their attitude afterwards.
Right, exactly.
You know, you would expect for them to be just so negative and upset. But
yeah, and they're
in the
still
end,
walking tall. I mean, that in one aspect is really catapulting Tech
Yeah.
out there. That's what we talked
The
about.
attitude,
We're
yeah.
out there, like, we were on national television for
Mhm.
something really awesome. And then all the behind-the-scenes stuff that y'all are doing academically and with the university, you
Yeah.
know, like, we have all the potential in the world. We just have got to put
I
it in
know.
action, and we slowly are seeing
Yeah.
it. We're seeing it. I mean, from our freshman year when we all first got here, there have been so many changes.
Oh, it's a different campus.
Yeah, it really is.
Really
I mean, you can just tell, like, just being in a spirit group, there's more people coming to
Mhm.
things. And it doesn't matter what it is, there's more involvement. And, like you said, the community service, like, it really is the heart of so many organizations to where, like, I mean, he can come to anything and take pictures at it because there's so many people that show
Exactly.
up. So it's like, it looks awesome, and thankfully the media and that we're getting on Facebook and Twitter and all these different things, like putting Tech out there, we have someone who's documenting it and
Mhm.
showing, like, this is what we're doing,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So I think it's awesome because I know when I first got here, it wasn't like this. So it really is neat to see that Tech has changed a
Mhm.
lot. So,
It's still going, so I'm just really interested to see where it even will be.
Yeah.
You know, and it's.
oh, and I'm so looking
Yeah.
forward to Lambright finally being
That-
opened up.
I
Oh
really
my
hope to
gosh.
swim in those swimming pools
Yes.
before we go.
So I'm
I do
maybe
hope
going
that
to grad
happens.
school here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got to at least see the inside of that place. We were joking around and saying that we wanted to get a tour of the inside of Lambright, and he was like, "Well, put your hard hats on." And I was just like, "They're still constructing it, but the lights are on now. Like, it just looks so cool. Like
Yeah.
driving down Tech Drive, if I'm showing like friends that are maybe wanting to come here or kids one day, like." I'm like, I remember one day when that thing was getting built, and that
Yeah.
sucker's finally up there.
It's done,
And it's awesome.
Yeah, and something we're trying to work on is like an alumni package for all the students that paid into it. And
That
because I
would be
told him, I was
so
like,
That would be
look, I think in the past 4 years, like, there's no telling how much money like I paid
Yeah.
for this, and I didn't really get to use it. And they see that and they agree, and so we're gonna come up with a really cool package for like alumni to be able to come back
That'll be
and get to
funny.
use it.
We'll
so.
all be in our walkers swimming.
Yeah, so
in water or
hey,
whatever
it's actually well, it's
classes.
handicap accessible.
Oh my
yeah, you
gosh.
can actually. It's really neat. The pool on
Cody
the
will
inside.
teach yoga to everyone.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be neat.
Golly.
So I think we'll see it in the spring. I really do.
Oh,
I
I
hope
hope
so.
so,
Me
yeah.
too.
I mean, it just looks so cool. Like, that's why I can't wait. I really do hope we get to get a tour of it and show the students, like, this is like for us.
Yeah.
It's finally going to be available. Like, we've talked about it for so long. So finally seeing all these changes, and like you said, we'll have a new intramural area, and just like small things really do make the university so much better.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and I mean, I look where we are, and like for example, ULM, they're just now working on a new intramural center.
wow.
They're trying to pass the fee at the same meeting that we're going to.
Oh gosh.
And then I
so
think
we're
about
already
well,
how many
ours is
steps
already,
ahead?
yeah, ours is almost done. So they still have their natatorium, and I think about where we are, and I'm like, wow, okay, it was worth the wait, but
Exactly.
but we really will be ahead of so many people because it is amazing, and I actually got to tour it and seeing how huge it is,
Oh,
you know,
that's
really, and
awesome.
actually climb. I wore my hard hat and had to
Woo!
climb up the ladder.
I really want
Yeah,
to. I
and
want to
it's-
go in there so
the neatest
bad.
part about it is on the second level where there'll be like workout equipment and
Uh-huh.
stuff. The view you have.
That is so crazy
It
to
is
me.
really neat.
I
like
just
seeing
feel
the
like
football
every-
field.
yeah. Golly.
It'll be a great view, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, you're not staring at a wall when you're working out.
Right,
So there's
exactly.
like a lot, and during the summertime you'll be able to see the pool and everything.
All the
so
babes
all the
tanning.
babes out there.
Oh,
So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Tech Police will be patrolling to make sure
Probably
nobody's
so.
sneaking some ice chests in there.
probably so.
God.
Because you will actually have the opportunity to rent out the space and do some stuff.
Oh
so.
wow.
Yeah.
We can have
That would-
birthday parties.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
social events, but
Oh my gosh.
it'll be really neat. So
That's great.
Sweet.
absolutely. So we'll see where we go.
I'm just impressed.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
very impressed by how much Tech has changed so much. And that's why we really wanted to get you in here. I was like, I want to talk to our SGA president and just let the students know, like, A, your vote counts, and B, why picking that person and why
Yeah.
voting for that person and what you stand for. You may not see everything get accomplished, and like you said, that's your own choice to
Mhm.
say, I'm going to pick a handful of things and then hope that I lay the foundation for the next person
Exactly.
to pick up where I left off. And thankfully, everyone picking up where the last person left off has
Gets
gotten us leaps and
So
bounds
much.
better, you know.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's something to be really proud of with this
No, it's a
university.
big deal. Like, the biggest thing I say is, like, get involved in, like, some aspect or another. I mean, I think we all got into the organizations that we're involved in because we felt like we could make a difference or
Right.
do something, and I think that's where we are and why we're here. So just do that. I mean, we have too many opportunities for you to just sit in your dorm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one thing about tech. Like, I think we've talked about this before. You can love this place, or you can just, like you said, sit in your room and just, I have no purpose here. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have a voice. You have to start somewhere. And that's why the thing that y'all have for the freshmen, almost like a mentoring program to say, get your feet wet, find out if you want to be a leader, or maybe you'll find out that you're a behind the scenes person and you'll be helping with the next play that's going on in the spring.
Yeah.
You know, just like any and everything, these shows, everything, the games, none of it happens unless there's a team effort and somebody wants to be there and somebody sticks their neck out there and joins the organization. So that's something that I always say, you have to get involved, and once you do, you can't have a negative experience. Like, once you know you're a part of something, it's a rewarding experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll enjoy your time here, and you'll want to come back. And it's just, I remember my fall quarter of freshman year, I wanted to transfer back to LSUS because I didn't get involved. And I was having such a terrible time. Like, no one from my high school really came here, and it was difficult.
Right.
And then when you actually get involved, you got involved in SGA, and then it just goes from there.
Right.
And you meet so many people. It doesn't matter what organization you join. You're going to meet 10, 15 people
Exactly.
that kind of share.
And people that you never thought about being
Right,
friends with.
exactly.
But you have a common interest.
Yeah, and it being college, and you're kind of your mind opening to new things,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
new people and beliefs and different things. It's just a great way to kind of just enjoy this.
Well, and
4
it's
or
a
5
nice,
years.
it's a nice jump, almost to the real world.
Mhm,
Like
yeah.
you said, meeting people that have different personalities and different views, it makes you a little bit more aware of your world. That most of us probably did live in a little bubble in our high school. We came to tech, and you realize, I've got to get involved. And there's going to be
Exactly.
people out there that have different views than I do, but that could be my boss one day, or I could be their boss one day. So I think our organizations they're so diverse here. And I would hope to say that most of them aren't stereotypical, because I feel like there are so many different dynamics in all of our organizations that make it something that's special. You can be a part of it and you're not like the person right next to you. So then you feel special even in your own organization.
Yeah, and that's
So-
also some good advice. Like, do not stereotype or think about a stereotype before joining. I mean, it's a lot different than
Yeah.
you could ever imagine. I mean, I never would have went Greek. It just kind of happened that I did, and because you see those stereotypes,
Right,
you join,
right.
and you're like, wait, okay, it is a little bit different than what I thought. And that goes for every organization.
Yeah.
And you can be someone that thinks the student government has done nothing, absolutely nothing, and then you get involved.
And
like,
obviously,
and you're like,
y'all
wait,
are.
what?
Yeah.
And the same goes for every organization. So go in with an open mind. You kind of see for yourself, and if it is terrible, then don't join it.
Exactly.
But move
At
on.
least you tried,
We
yeah.
have 160 or so there's somewhere for you to get
Golly.
involved. And if there's not an organization, create it. I did that for the Pre-Law Society back in the day, and now Lee Witten's taking it over, and it's flourishing.
I almost joined that,
Yeah.
but I wanted to.
Well,
go to
hey,
law
you
school.
still can. There's applications.
Oh my gosh. I
But
remember
you know,
that.
you can start an organization, and that happens all the time. So there's just a great opportunity for you really to do anything that you want here.
Some great words of advice. If it doesn't already exist, then create it.
Yes.
Gosh, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
any last words to our students?
Pay attention this quarter. It's going to be huge. So we're going to get the word out. Obviously, the SGA officer in the back of Tolliver, come see me. I'm there most of the time. I'd love to talk to you. So
Okay, definitely keep us updated so
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
brag about how everything goes coming up soon.
yeah.
And we'll keep all of y'all in touch with all the new changes. If you can't already see them, then they will be happening soon, it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
No
coming
problem at all.
with
It's good to
us.
be here.
Yes, awesome. Awesome.
Well,
Any parting words?
yes. Thank you for coming, of course. And also, this will be our last live television show. We'll be moving to out of the office, of course, and we're going on
It'll be
location with
fun.
everything. So, just look forward to a little bit more fun. We'll be having a little bit more fun on location.
Basically, we're going to go out of our element and go into the lives of the person we're interviewing.
Definitely.
So you'll probably see me and Cody partaking in a lot of not what we would be doing on a normal day activities.
No, not at all.
So I am looking forward to maybe being able to go into Lambright. Like you said, it sounds awesome, but we'll have to have nice little hard hats on.
Mhm.
So,
Definitely.
and we're going to have a big episode coming up in February. Is that what our next one is?
This is our next episode. It's
Yeah,
gonna be an hour
this
long.
will be an hour, so this is our chance to go out of our element.
Yes, we'll
Do
be
some
definitely
crazy
having,
stuff.
We'll be having about 2 interviews. We'll be exploring some different aspects of campus and just seeing what we can get ourselves into.
And if y'all want to request a theme for our episode, I'm thinking about having a workout theme if we're gonna go to Lambright. Do some old school
that'd be awesome.
workout stuff. Cody's gonna wear a leotard with a belt.
No.
He might. I might
Single
convince
ladies'
him.
dance.
Or I'll get our camera crew who has a rockin' bod to wear a leotard and he's gonna hate me now. No, but once again, obviously, no students realize how much work goes into doing the stuff that they do. And, I mean, we really do have a very great organization here, and SGA works their butts off, you know.
Mhm.
So, at the end of the day, if you don't know what's going on, appreciate it anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
they put so much work
Yeah.
into this, and Dr. Renaud and all the people. I mean, there's just so much that goes on here that I know I don't even think twice of until I finally sit down and go, how is Lambright finally about to open? You know, or
Yeah.
how did we finally get Tech Express? I know I was happy that I got to eat some free food last night because my roommate paid for it with her Tech Express.
Nice.
So
And we have like Tech Point in the new business building.
Yeah.
Honestly. Those
Yeah.
popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
I've never seen a building go up that fast.
No, you
Yeah.
drive down the street and all of a sudden there's like a nice little cul-de-sac and then you
Yeah.
have new trees going up. I
Yeah.
mean, Tech like looks better.
Uh-huh.
We're kind of out of the 70s. I was talking about it with them earlier. I felt like we were stuck in 1975 campus-wise, but now it's being beautified,
Yeah.
and especially if
more
those dorms go down.
Exactly, and that entrance, because that's
That'll
the
be
first thing you see
awesome.
when you come.
Exactly.
So really improving the entrance, like that's been my big deal. Like make that look good. That's your
Right.
first impression.
Well, we were
So-
joking around saying that everybody calls it Rust Vegas. We need like a Vegas
Yeah.
sign, and it just say Rust Vegas, and like fireworks go off when you enter here. Because as much as people say they get tired of being here, this is such a nice place to drive into
Mhm.
when you've been home for a couple of weeks and you don't want to be listening to your parents' rules
Yeah.
anymore. You're like, oh, I'm in
I'm
Ruston.
back.
So I think we need a big Vegas sign.
Yeah, that'd
Yes,
be cool.
it'd
We'll
be
look into
definitely
it.
Maybe a little casino on Lake Darbone on a little boat. I don't know. I'm
Wow.
that'll be my campaign.
I was about to say, there you
promise.
go.
Golly.
I think
But
you'll get a
yes,
lot of votes.
tune in and make sure we'll let y'all know everything that Clint's up to, and we'll have some awesome interviews coming up. We had a very successful first one, so thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we're just looking forward to hitting the ground running with everything this year.
It's gonna be
So spring quarter's gonna rock.
It
It's
is.
gonna be
It's gonna
amazing.
be
Yeah.
busy but great.
Yeah.
So y'all watch
So-
out. Until then,
Peace.
peace out.
Pageant wave.